and it's been in high demand due to the triple-demic of respiratory viruses hitting the United States. And that's the latest. I'm Ray Harris on your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Dell's Days of Deals start now with savings on select XPS laptops and Alienware PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors, plus savings on accessories and free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Is this the tether?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers got another strong performance from their dynamic duo to beat Minnesota 99-88. Paul George delivered a triple-double with 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. Kawhi Leonard had 19 points and 8 rebounds in 31 minutes. The Clippers have won 3 straight. The UC Board of Regents gave final approval for UCLA to move to the Big Ten Conference in 2024. The 11-5 vote has conditions. UCLA must pay up to $10 million to Cal Berkeley to compensate for revenue the school is expected to lose when UCLA leaves the Pac-12. USC, which is not a member of the UC system, is also moving to the Big Ten in 2024. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to your settlement, we're a slam dunk. Call 833-MVP-WINS or check their website at themvp.com for a free case review.
When you're the victim of a car accident, hiring the right law firm can be the difference between a rewarding settlement and striking out. Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys at 833-MVP-WINS for your free consultation.
Call on me, your MVP.
Hey, yo, don't let nobody else up in this booth.
Excuse me. Now that I have your attention, may I ask you this question? What image comes to mind when you hear the word homeless? Do you believe it to be solely a big city urban problem? A problem that only affects cities like Los Angeles and New York that have been inundated with panhandlers and tent encampments? What causes one to become houseless? And what strategies should be implemented to assist in helping people achieve and maintain housing stability? And do you believe having access to affordable housing should be a right in this country? Well, you've come to the right place. You're listening to LA's all-new progressive talk radio station of the people, by the people, for the people. It's KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got you covered around the clock. Racism?
We don't hate white people, we hate the oppressor, whether he be white, black, brown, or yellow.
We got you. Miseducation? We got you. Gun violence? We have you covered.
If you're afraid of socialism, you're afraid of yourself.
A black-owned and operated, evidence-based alternative radio station for progressive, open-minded people like you and me. Welcome home, LA. We're all in this together. It's KBLA Talk 1580, broadcasting from the heart of LA's Leimert Park. We've got a lot to talk about.
You can't do it unless you believe that you can do it.
Is the pen mightier than the sword?
They say the pen is mightier than the sword. At KBLA Talk 1580, we not only have a lot to talk about, we have a lot to write about. Politics, relationships, business, empowerment, and culture. The all-star roster at KBLA Talk 1580 has you covered.
That's what it's all about.
Be sure to follow us on all our socials for our latest book releases, op-eds, essays, and commentaries from our hosts. And, of course, download the KBLA 1580 app as we strive to remain your most trusted, credible, and reliable source for the issues you care about. This is unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
What up, baby?
I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. I shall not be moved. like a tree planted by the water. I shall not be moved.
Looking forward to the last hour of the show. That's Rena Giddens that you're hearing there. She will be joining me. She's a multiple Grammy nominee, MacArthur Genius Awardee, and an incredible multi-instrumentalist and singer. Looking forward to that conversation about the roots of American music and all the many, many things she's working on. Right now is a great time to call me. Freestyle phones, 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, Kwamel from Gardena. Good morning.
Yeah, I had hoped to get on with John because, I actually know that cat.
I wish you would have said something to Miles. We did not know that.
Yeah, okay, that's because we met some years and years ago, back when he ran against Maxine. I was like, who is this bold young dude going for that? My mom's like a huge, even before like the anti-Maxine thing, my mom's like a huge Maxine Waters fan.
Same.
Yeah. I mean, as she kind of emerged to be more progressive, I've become one too. But I've said, let me investigate what this cat is all about. And you might have seen me in the chat kind of going off a little bit. I kind of felt like I was talking to myself in there a little bit. But
no, it's it's hard for me to track the YouTube chat while talking to people on YouTube and doing, talking on the air. But I'll get there. I usually look at the chat like in breaks. I'll go. Yeah.
It's all good. So I'll make my points and try to land real fast.
You got time. Breathe. You don't have to land real fast. Make your points.
So going back to the whole thing I mentioned about the octave of worldviews that Danny Sheehan talks about, the whole idea of looking at what worldview you'd like to pursue and kind of seeing what's going on with it between utopian, progressive, liberal, moderate, conservative, reactionary, and authoritarian. As I met John and have built with him on a few occasions, we've sat down at the park and all that.
Wow.
One thing, John is definitely no reactionary and he's definitely no authoritarian. Maybe one thing that I wanted to kind of talk about during the hour he was on is the idea of, if one is a true conservative and on top of that whole thing of just kind of not approaching things with intellectual honesty, kind of acknowledging where other sides are coming from, and kind of going back to the whole whites in general point, whether it's white conservatives, like white liberals, the kind of tone deafness that black conservatives may not necessarily acknowledge, or black Republicans may not necessarily acknowledge, is coming from their white counterparts. And that's a thing that if they are to gain any traction, really would need to be nipped in the bud. And otherwise, I want to just kind of give a shout. Of course, you heard about the brother Twitch.
Yeah.
Yesterday. Yeah. That was
from. Most people know him from Ellen DeGeneres' show, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. I didn't watch Ellen, but when I heard Tavis mention it yesterday when I was running around, I said, "Oh man, just a cat that's only 40 years old."
He took his own life. Oh, I understand.
Yeah. I mean, a still young brother. Where I would think about just the idea of him being so young, and you would think, having the DJ skills and dance skills, having the name recognition from that, would be able to keep going for a long time to come, or something that you would look forward to anyway. But it made me think about two people. I thought about Robin Williams and his also having just got through with a series ending. He had a series called The Crazy Ones on CBS at the time, and then a few months later, you hear about his unalive himself. So Twitch, similar thing with Ellen in this year, and I thought about Chesley Christ.
Yeah.
This young, beautiful person that you would figure, okay, like all of us on the outside looking in would think, okay, these folks can pretty much create their own shot.
I mean, they seem to have it all. Chelsea Chris was an attorney. She was a beauty pageant winner. Robin Williams, top of the world, huge celebrity, big bank account. Twitch, good looking, vibrant, well known, seems to have opportunity all in front of them. And it's a big reminder. Number one, we know that suicide is on the rise among African Americans, particularly young Black children, right? As young as 8. And the other thing is we say check on our people, and I think that's right, especially during the holiday season. But but mental health is real. It's also not just like, oh, they're ungrateful, or, oh, they have it all and they can't see it. They may be struggling with an actual mental illness. Depression, anxiety are real. We have to stop dismissing them as a mood when they're an actual, ailment, if that makes sense.
Yes, and also, let me even bring up Chadwick Boseman. They can be struggling with something physical, medically physical that they're keeping away from people, and they're going through life, keeping hope alive for us. There's so many questions it makes me ask, but just never know what's going on with any of us at a given moment. We're all putting on the face to give the world our best and make the money and stuff like that. But we just never know. We got to talk to one another. I mean, brothers in particular got to talk to one another. But we all need to be talking to one another. And back to what I was saying with John, just that whole thing of seeing people as human beings first, not just an ideology or the person that's supposed to be rich or oh, that homeless guy over there, that bum, or any of these different things. Find the human being first, and that's where we'll be able to deal with everything else is going on and be able to embrace the person. So just one of those things I wanted to put out there.
I mean, it's a good point. I think it's one of the reasons why John Wood Jr. and I are actually friends and colleagues, even though we don't agree on most anything, is because we agree on that spirit of, every human being is qualified for respect by the fact of their humanity. They were, if you're a spiritual person, they were created by God. That's how I look at it. So that's a baseline for extending them respect. You don't have to disagree. You don't have to fall in love. You don't have to be BFFs. Oh, yeah. But there's a baseline of respect. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about. And I guess that is the one thing that John Wood and I, or one of the basic things that we most agree on. It's why I try to attack policies rather than people. It's why, that it's the way forward, I think, for our country, and it's a way away from this authoritarian trend that we see kind of rippling worldwide right now.
Yeah. No, we can't be in the business of crushing people. It goes against so much of what folks claim when they. I think we're getting too deep into using many of these affiliations as badges or just an affiliation more so than actual tenets, actual worldviews, and that's what we're failing. That's what we're failing humanity, and causing us to all just kind of end up on streets, out of doors, and so much more. But I'll leave it there, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you for your call, Kwamel. Thanks for spreading the word about KBLA Talk 1580. Call me now, 800-920-1580. We are unapologetically progressive.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
The Institute for Diversity Certification is all about the 3 Ds: dedication, determination, and discipline. Learn more about our globally recognized diversity certification program today by calling 1-800-983-6192. Again, 1-800-983-6192, or visit diversitycertification.org. As the #1 organization for certified diversity professionals and also certified diversity executive credentials, diversitycertification.org will provide an opportunity for you to demonstrate dedication to the field, determination to make progress, and more discipline to your process. Go today and learn more about the diversity certification system. Call 1-800-983-6192. Again, 1-800-983-6192. Or go to diversitycertification.org. That's diversitycertification.org. The standard of excellence, equity, diversity, and inclusion.
Smooth skin begins with hydrating ingredients. Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion nourishes your skin with all-day hydration for deeply moisturized results that give you confidence like buttery soft shoulders like and visibly smooth skin like. Quench your skin with nourishing moisture from Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion. Try Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash too and get skin your face will envy.
Four racial arsonists set LA City Hall on fire. And everybody is running out of the building straight to KBLA Talk 1580.
I am pleased to welcome LA City Councilman Mike Bonin to this program. Councilman, how are you, sir?
Hello, thank you, Tavis.
Councilmember Curran Price, good to have you on, sir. How are you today?
I'm well, Tavis. Thank you. Good to be with you and your listeners.
I am pleased to have LA City Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez on this program. How are you today, ma'am?
Good morning, Tavis.
Councilman O'Farrell, good to have you on, sir. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Tavis. So glad to join you this morning.
Councilman Koretz, welcome to this program, sir. How are you?
I'm honored to be on your show. Still in shock from the events of the last few days.
Marquise Harris Dawson, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique, and good morning to the KBLA family.
Councilmember Heather Hutt, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique.
I am pleased to welcome the new president of the LA City Council, Paul Kokoy. Mr. President, how are you, sir?
Good morning, Tavis. I'm well. Thank you very much.
Holding all politicians accountable to you. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Last minute shopping? Good thing Ulta Beauty's first on your list. From Gotta Have It ready-to-go kits from Fenty and Benefit to cult favorite mascaras to simple yet perfect Ulta Beauty gift cards. We have gifts everyone will love this season. So get shopping, because our kind of holiday is you having your kind of holiday. Hurry to an Ulta Beauty near you or buy online and pick up in store. Ulta Beauty, the possibilities are beautiful.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
And I'm so glad you're here with me, whether you're here on YouTube, whether you're in your car or somewhere else listening to terrestrial radio, or whether you have delightfully downloaded our app, which is available free wherever you get your apps. It's KBLA 1580. You can listen live. You can hear conversations that you may have missed, and you've missed some amazing ones. Just go to KBLA 1580. Click on podcast. If you want to see us on YouTube, just go inside the app and click on KBLA TV. Let's go to Ronnie calling us from Orange County. Jambo, Ronnie. That's our Swahili word of the week. Jambo. It means hello, goodbye, what's up, peace. Jambo.
I was wondering a couple of days ago when you said that, I said, I got to go and Google that again because I had forgotten it. Thank you. You're so poignant and on point. Good morning also, the KBLA family. Yes, more welcome than not. I like to do a simple dive along with you, Dominique, on our new mayor and Karen Bass and her declaration that she put into place. And I don't want to compare it to Eric Adams in New York, but however, I want to just share with the audience who may have not seen the Democracy Now! Piece on Eric Adams. But let me just unroll our mayor, Karen Bass, was on the morning show yesterday, and she was asked in two separate ways how is she going to initiate her program. And she came out with the answer, public and private partnership. And, I was on the line a few weeks ago saying, hey, is the guy who lost the election, is he going to take the ball and go home? So I was glad that she's thinking that way. But she's looking at taking hotels because mothers, families, they need walls between them, not just in a large room, where COVID and other types of contagions can take off. And I'm just going to switch because I think that's enough with what.
Okay, but before
Karen
you move
Bass
on, let me just clarify and make sure I understand what you're saying. You're comparing Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, whose first day in office was Monday, to former NYPD. Well, I think once NYPD, always NYPD. Mayor Cop, as I call Mayor Adams in New York. You're comparing the two of them because she has declared a state of emergency. But declaring a state of emergency, and I may be misunderstanding what you're saying, but declaring a state of emergency is not the same as saying that you will involuntarily commit people to mental health institutions, that you will, have the police take people forcibly. So I don't know if it's, I'm not going to say I don't know. I do not think it's a fair comparison.
Oh, absolutely. And I actually, because neither one of those programs have gotten off the ground, as I said, in all fairness, I just wanted to share with our audience. But I 100% agree with you that having once NYPD, always NYPD, and the thinking, but the Democracy Now! Piece, where the housing secretary for New York and a housing advocate for New York faced off on Democracy Now! The housing advocate said, you don't have wraparound services. You have people, you have police being the first in these homeless people's faces in New York when there's no funding for having collective services. That should be the first. Find out what these people need. And I was really happy with that Democracy Now! It wasn't a debate.
Okay, they need to buy ads on our station as much as you're giving them shout outs and love. It is a great show, though. It's a really good show. But I'm still not, I don't know that I'm understanding your point. I guess you're just comparing the two to make us think. Is that the idea, Ronnie?
I'm just simply sharing with the audience that neither one has gotten off the ground. However, I will say I favor Karen Bass's program of public-private partnership in hotels, putting people in rooms instead of large buildings. And the New York program, which is having police remove forcibly or maybe voluntarily. And so I'm just sharing that at the beginning of both of their projects is the difference.
Okay, and you said you were going to pivot, so let's go ahead and pivot. I'll pivot with you because we're going to be talking about this unhoused persons crisis for, well, hopefully not too much longer, but it seems like it's going to be quite a while before we're able to really get this problem, this challenge, this crisis under control and get people in shelter with the services that they need.
Outstanding and absolutely, and I noticed last week quite a few of my Air Force buddies, I'm Air Force, all called in on the same day. I wanted to get in on that too. So thank everybody for their service and thank all the families who welcome us home when we come home, because without you, there'd be no reason for us to go across the water.
I didn't know you were Air Force, Ronnie. Did you tell me that before and I just forgot? Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
I mean, not that I'm so pro-military, but I feel that people who serve their countries should get their props. You know what I mean? You did make a sacrifice for this country. I'm not a militaristic person, but I do think it's important to pay tribute to the veterans. You are a worker and you're working on behalf of our nation.
Yes, thank you, Dominique. And I'm a conscientious objector at this point of my life. I am Air Force. However, I will not study war no more for the many reasons, as I heard on a show yesterday about the military budget, but heck, so did Barack Obama. He increased it twice over his 8 years. And so it's just something that's baked into the cake when we could be using funds elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, oh, I thought that was the pivot. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, quickly, my pivot is I actually have a side eye when I hear the talking heads and dignitaries talk about what China's doing. And the reason that I give it a side eye is because United States wasted blood and treasure for 20 years in Afghanistan. That money and treasure and blood could have been used for 20 years. So don't come complain in 2022 about what China's doing. You have a thought on that?
I mean, it's an interesting way of looking at it because it's always about priorities, right? There is not infinite money, so you've got to decide where you put your dollars. And I think that's what people mean when they say a budget is a moral document. I do think we waste a lot of money on foreign intervention in situations we have no business being in, and training people that we end up later turning around and having to fight, like the Taliban, right? We trained them when they were fighting against the Russians, and then here we come. Now we've got to fight them, and we're fighting against our own training and weaponry. Big, giant waste of money. Meanwhile, we say, oh, well, we can't afford the child tax credit. We can't afford to feed 4 million American children that are hungry, but we can send billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. I do feel for the people of Ukraine. It's terrible to be invaded. But why does the U.S. prioritize war? War with anybody, intervention anywhere, regime change, and this sort of global imperial mission over the well-being of our own citizens at a time when we're recovering from pandemic. We are, still dealing with inflation, even though it's leveling off, but the reverberations of that continue. So I agree with you, Ronnie. It's about priorities. And so if you're going to complain about China, or if you're going to complain about Russia for that matter, or if you're going to complain about anyone spending their dollars and being aggressive towards other nations, then you've got to look at our own aggression and how it edges out the humanitarian priorities that some of us would prefer to invest our taxpayer money in advancing. That is one of my number one problems right now with the Biden administration. Record spending on the military, and then the Congress allocates 8% more than the huge bloated budget 8%. That the Biden administration even asked for. So here I'm going to throw in an 8% bonus. What 8%. The actual heck is that? What is that saying about our priorities and where we're going, where we think we're headed? Where we think we're headed must be prolonged war, whether it's against China, whether it's in Ukraine, against Russia, wherever it is. That's the priority, rather than feeding our kids, funding our schools, and securing our energy grid. To me, those are much more important priorities.
Outstanding. And Dominique, I'll say this as I leave. That rant that you had just shared with the KBLA audience was very Dr. Hornish. Wonderful.
Okay, I think you're talking Gerald, although we have two Dr. Horns, Dr. Gerald Horn. Yeah, well, I'll take that as a high compliment, Ronnie. Appreciate you. Absolutely. Thank you for the call. We do have news. We've got traffic. We've got sports, and then we can talk about it. Whatever it is, are you impressed with Deion Sanders trying to mentor that new coach? What is in your craw? What is making you inspired? Call me 800-920-1580. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Ree Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network.
The Affordable Care Act is just one example of why I believe Nancy will go down as one of the most accomplished legislators in American history.
Political leaders of the past and present are honoring House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. A portrait of Pelosi was unveiled in the United States Capitol as the speaker will step down from her leadership role when the new Congress convenes next month. Mortgage application volume is on the rise. That came as the average 30-year rate barely moved. Meantime, homeowners are looking to refinance. On this day in history, December 15, 1961, police used tear gas and dogs to stop mass demonstrations by 1,500 blacks in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And that's the latest. I'm Ray Harris on your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Still got the crash at Pomona blocking the carpool lane 60 westbound at Reservoir Street, and traffic is stop and go from Grove Avenue. Middle lane blocked in Claremont, crash on the 10 westbound past Indian Hill causing delays from Central Avenue. And we got the crash in Whittier on the 605 northbound at Beverly Boulevard. It's on the shoulder adding to the slow drive from the 105. CP looking for a crash in South LA on the 105 eastbound near the 110. That's blocking the carpool lane, so watch for slowing there. And a car reported in the slow pass 405 northbound at Getty Center. Might see some slowing from Moraga.
Dell's Days of Deals start now with savings on select XPS laptops and Alienware PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors, plus savings on accessories and free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Is this the tether?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers got another strong performance from their dynamic duo to beat Minnesota 99-88. Paul George delivered a triple-double with 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. Kawhi Leonard had 19 points and 8 rebounds in 31 minutes. The Clippers have won 3 straight. The UC Board of Regents gave final approval for UCLA to move to the Big Ten Conference in 2024. The 11-5 vote has conditions. UCLA must pay up to $10 million to Cal Berkeley to compensate for revenue the school is expected to lose when UCLA leaves the Pac-12. USC, which is not a member of the UC system, is also moving to the Big Ten in 2024. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to your settlement, we're a slam dunk. Call 833-MVP-WINS or check their website at themvp.com for a free case review.
When you're the victim of a car accident, hiring the right law firm can be the difference between a rewarding settlement and striking out. Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys at 833-MVP-WINS for your free consultation.
Call on me, your MVP.
At the Strategy Center, we have a lot to celebrate. Join us Saturday, December 17th, 12 noon to 4 p.m. for our annual holiday block party at Strategy in Seoul, located at 3546 Martin Luther King Boulevard, Los Angeles 90008 on King Boulevard, 1 block east of Crenshaw. Featuring food from Earl's on Crenshaw, Afro-Cuban drumming with Richard Marquez, and ornament making for kids of all ages, and more activities for children. Help us celebrate 33 years of fighting anti-Black policies in LA. We want free public transportation for everyone in LA and 50% of all public and private jobs set aside for Black applicants. Did I mention a live DJ and karaoke? You do not want to miss this. Join us on December 17th from 12 to 4 p.m. at Strategy in Seoul, 3546 West Martin Luther King Boulevard. Visit our website for more information and RSVP to www.thestrategycenter.org.
What's the best product I bought this year? Oh, that's easy. Salonpas pain-relieving patches. The proven medicines in Salonpas patches reduce my pain and let me do the things I need to do every day.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas reported improved sleep, mood, and the ability to work. They had less pain and were able to reduce their use of oral pain medications.
For pain, I use Salonpas. It's good medicine.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure for fast, powerful nighttime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are indeed, and since we're looking at the national conversation in this hour, it's my pleasure to bring in an expert. She's the president and CEO of Meriwether and Williams Insurance Services. In addition to doing traditional property and casual insurance, surety, and risk management, she specializes in contractor development programs, unique insurance, and more. Ingrid Meriwether is joining me. She had reached out about a really interesting conversation that I think is important to look at. which is, under the bipartisan, I always put air quotes around bipartisan, under the bipartisan infrastructure package passed by the president, by the Congress, but championed by the president, under even the American Rescue Plan, also a victory for the Biden administration. And locally here in California, I think many states, we're already seeing massive infrastructure being built. We're getting ready for the Olympics. We are repairing bridges, roads, electrical grids. All of this infrastructure equals dollars. So the question of who profits from these massive government expenditures, how do they profit? How does it impact our communities of color? All great questions and issues that Ingrid Merriweather has been tracking. Welcome to KBLA.
Thank you, and good morning, Dominique. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. So give me an understanding. You do insurance. I mean, obviously insurance, every business has to have insurance. They have to be bonded in order to compete or even, move forward with any of these giant contracts and tiny contracts that are available when these big government projects come on board. But tell me how you came to track this and how you see your perspective or your viewpoint of it based on your work in the financial services.
Yes, well, thank you for that question. And I have to start a little bit at the beginning, where our business is celebrating 25 years in business just today, as a matter of fact.
Congrats.
And thank you. And being a minority and woman-owned firm in the financial services industry where there was such a void and absence of our representation, there was also something we were very aware of, is that we were part of the institution that was creating systemic inequity. Access to affordable insurance that meets the requirements of public agencies, access to bonding, access to capital. If you're awarded a contract, a lot of people don't realize you have to spend your own dollars to prosecute the work while you wait months to be reimbursed for those expenditures by the public agency. Where does that money come from when you're a small business? Most of us don't have the capacity to walk into a major lender and say, I need a line of credit of $500,000. So we recognize that our own industry, the insurance and financial services industry, was part of the problem, and that accessing these critical financial resources, which are required to participate in public construction, was what we were going to be focused on. We're of the industry. We're part of the industry. The industry's been good to us. But we decided that our space in the industry is going to be about removing these barriers for others. And that's what we've been doing for 25 years. And in the process, what we've demonstrated is when you will disrupt the system and create pathways that give folks access to the resources they need to be able to compete for work, when they are successful bidders, most public works construction is awarded on a low bid basis, the lowest responsible bidder. So you want the biggest pool of contractors that are able to compete, that are able to bid. That's how you bring the cost to the taxpayers for delivering these projects down, having a bigger pool of contractors in a position to compete. And so we were actually able to not only track their successful contracting participation of minority and small contractors, but that when they were bidding and they were low bidders, they were saving these large public agencies millions of dollars through their competitive bids. So it was really eye-opening to see that, institutional barriers create inequity. And who pays for inequity? When it's public contracting dollars, we all do. And removing these barriers is critical to create access to the opportunities that we all are afforded, because these are taxpayer-funded projects that we all should have a right to participate in. But not only does it grant us access, as I said, it increases the pool of competition, which benefits everybody in overall lower cost. And as you mentioned, Dominique, with the amount of construction that's contemplated just here in Los Angeles, over the next few years, that's billions of dollars of economic opportunity. People talk about generational wealth building. How do you create that? Well, in the construction industry, if you're a small minority contractor, getting access to this work, hiring out of your communities, creating that long-term generational wealth building is really what this is all about.
Yeah, I mean, you said quite a lot right there. But you talk about institutional barriers facing small businesses, and many times it really is, it's worse for women businesses, women-owned businesses, BIPOC-owned businesses. Some of them are institutional and some of them are financial. I mean, what you just described, which is you got to front the money to do the work and then wait to be reimbursed. Many small businesses can't do this. So, I mean, how do you overcome that? That's not a policy issue. That's an access to capital issue.
Yeah, but it is a policy issue because if public agencies are going to walk the talk, then they're going to commit and invest in resources that are there to help remove these barriers, even when the barriers are in other institutions like the financial services industry. And we've demonstrated that's possible, that if you provide some resources that help these firms access these capital, like we work with CDFIs, Community Development Financial Institutions, their mission and purpose in life is to provide funding for small and diverse businesses that can't go into your Wells Fargo and Bank of America's of the world and get a line of credit. And so our program sponsors, the City of LA, LA Metro, the County of LA, have resourced this program that is creating access to critically needed financial services like funding of contracts. So we run something called the Contractor Financing Assistance Program. If a contractor is awarded a contract with one of these agencies, we will provide them funding so they can prosecute the work using a source of funding that does not deplete them, that holds them over, provides that cash flow gap funding until they start getting paid by the agency. We've proven that that's doable. And the one thing I want to tell you, Dominique, that I think is the most important to understand, there's something we track in our program. When you do bonding for contractors, there's something called a loss ratio. How much is put at risk and how much of that risk was lost? Now, the perception of minority contractors is that they're less qualified, that they have less capacity. Well, through our programs alone, we've done $331 million in bonds for contractors who have been awarded work with one of those agencies, City of LA, LA Metro, and LA County. And of that $331 million of awarded work, they have successfully completed 99.9% of that work. That's their performance rate. The loss ratio is less than 0.1%. So there's been this perception that these firms are higher risk, and yet we've proven that's not true. When you eliminate the barriers and provide some supportive services, not only can they compete and successfully complete projects, they outperform their peers. So, we have been in a fortunate opportunity to have the ability of demonstrating how don't let what you can't do stop you from what you can, and that there are ways and strategies that you can provide resources and remove barriers that enable folks to have access. And they're over and over, they prove successful when they're finally giving an opportunity. Dominique, you know how hard it is for minority businesses to get contracts. And so trust me when I say, when they finally break through that barrier, their commitment to completing that work, even sometimes at a loss or detriment to their own business, is powerful because they know they don't get second opportunities. Mediocrity doesn't fly when you're a minority business. You have to outperform everyone else.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
so
I
the
even
fact
take
we've
issue
been
with the
able
term
to-
minority business. I know people still use it, but we're not even really the minority if you look at it globally, and soon won't be the minority in the United States. But your point is taken for BIPOC businesses. It is harder to access capital. We do also have those different policy items that seem to keep us out, that create obstacles. And so I appreciate, you're bringing this forward in terms of looking at these giant pools of dollars that are either in motion now or will be in motion, and where small businesses, women-owned and BIPOC-owned businesses really could have the opportunity to step up. Many times we're not prepared to do so. So for the kinds of opportunities that you're talking about, the contractor financing assistance program, or some of the workshops and things that you teach around, bonding and making sure your certifications and all of your ducks are in a row, insurance and the like, for to be able to actually have a legitimate bid and a shot at these dollars, where would people go?
So to access our resources, they can contact us. Our website address is imwis.com, and you can click on programs, and you'll find information to enroll in the program. There are no costs for these resources. All you have to be is a small local contractor in LA County to tap into this.
All right. Well, Ingrid Merriweather, I so appreciate you bringing this to our attention and offering the resources to the many, 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 many small businesses that are part of our KBLA delegation.
Thank you, Dominique, and thank you for the work that you do, too. I know that you're an advocate as well, and you come from a family of advocacy. And so I just want to acknowledge that, because there are just a few of us out there who are combining advocacy with our business platform, and I know that you're doing that as well. So I just want to say thank you for what you do.
Appreciate you. We're all standing on the shoulders of our ancestors, and I do my best to represent. You're listening to KBLA. Yeah. This is Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours, now through December 20th. All of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net. And together, we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go.
Ain't Too Proud is a celebration that brings the audience to its feet.
Ain't too proud to beg, as you know it.
The Grammy-winning songs, the Tony-winning movies. Ain't Too Proud, the life and times of the Temptations. Now at the Amundsen through January 1st only. Tickets at AmundsenTheater.org.
Did you know that LA County Library has free Wi-Fi at all 85 library locations? That's right, free Wi-Fi. Now they also offer free Wi-Fi in parking lots at participating locations. Visit a participating LA County Library location, park in a library parking spot, bring your own device, connect to the Wi-Fi, and you're ready to connect with your friends and family, do some online shopping, browse your social media accounts, answer emails, do your homework, and so much more. You won't need a library card to connect, but you can sign up for one while you're there and get access to free books, ebooks, music, movies, and more. For additional information, log on to lacountylibrary.org/Wi-Fi, lacountylibrary.org/Wi-Fi. That's lacountylibrary.org/Wi-Fi.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, you know what? I want to take a point of privilege here, and I hope you'll indulge me. For those of you who have been on this journey with me, with us, with KBLA, since we launched on Juneteenth of 2021, and through all the twists and turns that we've had, I've had Cynthia Williams by my side as a booking assistant, booking coordinator, producer, creative partner, really. And she has just been amazing. She has elevated the show. She has put everything in a system and organized everything to where, it makes it almost impossible for me to fail. And I just, she has put so much effort as a volunteer, just time and care and creativity into First Things First, into KBLA. And I just want to take a moment to thank her. Today is her last day. Cynthia, yes. Thanks for that, Miles. Many of you have been on the show, have interfaced with her, and you just know how thorough she is, how caring, how creative. She's always searching out new guests that I've never heard of and that I'm really excited to talk with, and hunting down ones that I've always wanted to speak to and never giving up until they agree to come on the air. So if you've enjoyed the incredible variety of guests that we've had, we're going to strive to keep that going, of course. But I just want to thank Cynthia Williams and give her her flowers on this, the very last day of her work with KBLA. Yeah, that's not to say. I don't know. I have a feeling she won't be able to resist. Like if she runs into Denzel Washington at a reception, I have a feeling he'll be showing up around here the next day or whatever. I don't think she'll be able to resist sending people our way, but certainly her formal portfolio here is over. And when I say the sisterhood is real, that is one really good example. Sisters supporting sisters, stepping up in making change. So, yes, thank you, Cynthia Williams. We love you, and I know that wherever you go, you are making a difference and getting people organized and on point. A lot of folks are mad at Deion Sanders for leaving an HBCU to coach at Colorado, and he is now trying to help the coach who worked under him, who will be taking his place, mentor him a little bit by introducing him to the world. Is that going to make a difference? Is it not going to make a difference? He's advocated for this guy to have this opportunity, and I think that's dope. Like when doors open for us, it's important to bring other people through them. T.C. Taylor is the guy's name. He used to play at Jackson, and he was the team's receivers coach. I heard Deion Sanders, he's been getting beat up on social media for walking away from that HBCU, and I understand that. We'd love to see him there forever. We'd love for him to be the emperor of HBCU sports, but since he's made the decision and he has the right to do so, to walk away, he has decided to really advocate for T.C. Taylor and try to make him a success. So, props to him for doing something about something like that, because more and more coaches, managers, owners of color has to be part of the agenda for all of us. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry still taking a lot of heat over their Netflix documentary, which I actually enjoyed. I am not a monarchist. I would like to abolish the monarchy. I am always, and you know this, especially if you've been on my YouTube channel, DiPrima Radio, or Dominique DiPrima, the B is for Baraka. You know that Dick Gregory got me onto an exploration about where did all that money come from? Who did they take it from? Who do those diamonds really belong to? That said, I think the context is interesting, and it's important to understand all of the things that are happening with Harry and Meghan in the context of global white supremacy, colonialism, and imperialism. I know it sounds like a bunch of rhetoric, but it shows you how these lines, these battle lines, continue very much the same way they were during our enslavement and before, even before that, today. That's wild. Yeah, white supremacy is real. Let's not miss it, even though it seems like a trivial conversation. It's KBLA Talk 1580. We're unapologetically progressive.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where we turn red lights to green lights and keep it moving.
Bring in the new year with Ted Williams. He's coming to to Ontario in the Toyota Arena December 30th. And in Los Angeles in the Microsoft Theater December 31st.
I don't know what I'm gonna do about this light bill. Just hit the blunt one time and see if it don't change your perception of what's important in your life. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this life. Them lights. I got 12 candles. I've been waiting to burn them.
He's back with an all-new show. It's the award-winning comedian, Cat Williams.
Just so you knew they was lying, they said some next that don't even make mathematical sense. They said there's a chicken wing shortage, but we got plenty thighs.
Cat Williams with his special guests, Mark Curry, Tommy Davidson, Tony Roberts, Daphne Springs, and Pretty Ricky. In Ontario, get tickets at Ticketmaster. In Los Angeles at AXS.com. Bring in the new year with Cat Williams.
Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell. You know, the fries covered in bold Mexican spices you dip in a warm nacho cheese sauce. You can also dunk them in nacho cheese sauce or pour the sauce onto a pile of them and create like a nacho fries nachos. The thing is that you eat them with nacho cheese sauce. That's what makes them nacho fries. Otherwise, you're just eating fries and sipping on nacho cheese sauce, and that's the wrong way. Sorry, just really passionate about nacho fries.
Nacho fries are back, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation, which vary.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed. Just a few minutes left before a conversation I'm really looking forward to. Rhiannon Giddens. Wow, she's a musician, a singer, an historian, and much more. I'm looking forward to that conversation. Hope you'll stick around for it. Just taking you through. Okay, I can't talk. What's going on? A few of things that are going on that you might want to know about that you might not be tracking. You can get more free COVID tests, and it's a good idea from the government right now because everybody's got holiday gatherings. I think the least you can do is probably check yourself out and try not to get each other sick. I think it's covid.gov, if I'm not mistaken. I've ordered them before. All you do is put in your address. It's really non-invasive, and they send you something free that costs a bunch of money if you have to go to the drugstore and buy it. So just giving you the heads up about that. The defense and the prosecution have arrested in the murder trial of Fort Worth police officer Aaron Dean. That's for the killing of Tatiana Jefferson. You may remember her. She was so many of them. It's terrible to have to track them, but I try to. And she was babysitting her nephew when after a wellness check, because the door was open, a wellness check by a neighbor, she was shot dead through a window. That neighbor has been outside throughout the trial with a sign calling for justice for her. And we are expecting now that the closing arguments have been completed, that we'll be hearing from the jury hopefully sometime soon. This is a crazy story. The U.S. Embassy in the Dominican Republic is warning black and dark-skinned Americans to stay out of the Dominican Republic because they could be detained and deported to Haiti. Maybe it's not making the front page of the papers, but to me it's a full circle connection to the U.S. driving Haitian refugees out of this country with immigration officials on horseback, whipping them with reins and dragging them through the mud like slaves. And what they're saying, that the Haitians, if you know, Dominican Republic and Haiti share an island. Half is brown, or they consider themselves brown. Half is black and clearly Haitian. What they're saying is you can be treated like an N-word on either border, on any border, worldwide. Duly noted. You've been warned. And this is why we have to push back when we talk about immigration. It's not just left and right, black and white. There's a lot of racial prejudice, bias, systemic racism, white supremacy baked into the policy. Got to unpack that. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Ree Harris,